Hi, my darlings. I'm Sophie Darling, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hello. My name is Sophie, and I have a doctorate in literature, which means I get way too emotionally invested in the shows that I'm watching. So, if you're looking for a reactor that likes to talk about themes, symbolism, and character development, then you're definitely in the right place. So, why don't you hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video? Today, we're reacting to episode 16 of season 1 of Demon Slayer. Last episode, we saw what I think for me is one of the coolest designs for demons we've seen so far. I just love the concept of using spiders as a way to puppeteer demon slayers and have them turn on each other without having to put yourself in danger by fighting them yourself. I also just think the sound design of like the creaking joints as they're moving like puppets, like old marionettes. It's just a really cool attention to detail. I love that we're seeing more of Inosuke and his growth of him trying to understand the complexity of what it means to be a human because he's so removed from it culturally that he just doesn't get it. I love Zenitsu's Sparrow not giving Zenitsu any peace because he needs to get it together. But Zenitsu has run in to find them. So I think we're going to see more cool, epic Zenitsu moments. And this concept of there being 5 that are bonded in this forest is going to be interesting because we've seen 2. I think we had a glimpse of the 3rd kind of hidden, but they're referred to as a family. The mother is the one that is controlling the puppets. Whether it's a found family or an actual family that were all made into demons is likely something they're going to delve into. But I think it's very telling that they're not being outwardly aggressive, that they're not leading a charge against them. Yes, they're using the demon slayers to fight against each other to dispatch them so that they're not a threat to them and their family and their area anymore. But it's very telling that one of the children showed up and warned them to leave, as if trying to resolve this somewhat peacefully. It seems as if all they want at the end of the day is to be left alone, is for their family to be able to continue to reside within the mountain without the threat of death, without being harmed, and they're merely doing this to protect themselves. And I think we might see that because it was quite telling that we had the conversation where it was sort of given to Gayu, wouldn't it be a great world if like demons and humans could get along? And Gayu's like, that's impossible. So I'm wondering if it's kind of alluding to not every demon they encounter is a demon that needs to be eradicated. And we already know that from Tomiya, that not every demon needs to be eradicated, but maybe this also is an exception. But I'm looking forward to knowing more about the demons in the mountain, and we'll likely learn their origin story because it's kind of setting up the premise that they're going to delve a little deeper into the background. And I have a feeling it's going to be very emotional nonetheless. But without further ado, we're going to get into episode 16. She might not be there when they actually do show up. And if they do find her, she's not going to be alone. Her children will defend her.
強い気配をビンビン感じるぜ。
そうか、すごいぞ、伊之助。
The praise!
こいつらをなんとかしないと先へ進めねえ。
くそ、何か方法はないのか。
Cute. Inosuke is adorable. I wonder if Zenitsu's gonna catch up. He's out of breath. You don't need to worry about her. She's good. She can look after herself. Oh, the music is so good.
ダメだ、やめろ。何か方法はあるはずだ。だから
Got
この
goosebumps.
人たちを傷つけるのは村田さん。ここは俺に任せて先に行け。
しょんべん漏らしが何言ってんだ。
誰が漏らしたこのクソ伊之助。
He's doing an honorable thing, Inosuke. He's with his comrades.
情けないところを見せたが、俺も鬼殺隊の剣士だ。ここで操られている者たちは動きも単純だ。 雲にも気をつける。鬼の
Elementary of
もっと強
movements.
力に操られているものがいるはず。
So then does that mean those that are closer to the mother will have more than elementary movements? Because if these ones are further away and they're basic,
いいからさっさと行け。
oh boy, they might have some fierce competition in the way to the mother.
くそー、あいつ絶対ぶん殴ってやる。クソイノシシとか言われたんだぜ、モンジロー。
炭治郎だ。それで
Wrong
いいんだな、こっちで。
name.
俺の感覚に狂いはねえけど、
Oh,
なんじゃこの鬱陶しい糸は。
ダメ、
oh, she's alive.
こっちに来ない。誰か階級が上の人を連れてきて。そうじゃないとみんな殺してしまう。
Oh, God love her. She's had to see herself kill her friends and comrades. That must be traumatizing.
私に近づけば近づくほど糸は太く強くなり、
The more control she has. Okay. Yeah, when he said elementary movements, I was like,
勝てるよね。
ルフィ、
ちょっと時間がかかりすぎじゃない？
is she scared of him or is she upset that he's seeing her this way?
早くしないと。
She
父
looks
さん
scared
に
of
言いつける
him.
から。
Oh,
大丈夫よ。母さんはやれるわ。必ずあなたを守るから。だから父さんはやめて。父さんは。
oh, she's terrified of the father.
だったら早くして。
What a strange family dynamic. Okay. Oh, she is panicking.
死ね。さっさと死ね。じゃないと私がひどい目に遭う。
Oh,
操られているから。私たちこんなに強くなかった。
oh,
鬼が糸で無
oh,
理や
that
り体を動かしてい
crunch.
るから。
Ugh.
骨が折れてもお構いなしだ。
Oh, what a horrible situation.
しぶといわね。
殺してくれ。
Oh, look at that arms.
骨が内臓に刺さって
Oh, this is honestly a fate worse than death.
耐えられない。
The fact that he's asking to die. He's like, please just kill me.
助けてくれ。
I don't know if Tanjiro could do it, even if it would be a mercy. It's a lot to ask of him.
本人が殺せって言ったろうが。
考えるから待っててくれ。
You know who is
まだは使いた
fast?
くない。
Zenetsu.
糸を切ってもまたすぐつながる。動きを止めるには。そうだ。
Tangle them? Get them tangled so they can't unweave?
てめえ
Like,
何を
loop de
ぐ
loop.
るぐると逃げ回
He's
って
gonna
んだ。
tangle them.
ふざけんじ
It
ゃねえ
makes
ぞ。
sense.
全集中。
It's like when you tie a knot too tight, you can't undo it.
よし、うまく絡まった。
のなんじゃそら俺もやりたい
He's like, come here. Oh, I love a Nosuke.
見たかよ、お前にできることは俺にもできるんだぜ。
役に立たない人形ばかり。あの人形を出すしかないわね。
Unleash that doll then. What doll? So she's been saving a powerful one.
ねずこちゃん、炭治郎、イノシシ、
Wild boar, where are you?
俺が
Oh
悪かったよ。
Lord. Crying's not gonna solve the issue.
俊太郎。俺を追いかけてきてくれたのか。可愛いやつだな。ねずこちゃんの次だけどな。
No, it should be number 1. See, you're not alone. So cute. So cute.
もう一回やるからちゃんと見とけ。
わかった。それでいい。とにかく乱暴にするな。
もう必要ないわ。脆い人間の人形は役立たず。
ちくしょう、みんなやられたじゃねえかよ。
Oh my god! Tanjiro is furious. Just threw them away as if they were nothing.
行こう。そうだな。
Even he's like, oh shit. Oh, especially when they were trying to save their lives and they were so close as well.
伊之助。
俺の方が先に
Is this the other doll?
その首ぶった切ってやるぜ。
What is that?
どこ
What the fuck? It's mimicking him. Oh shit, if they're fleeing, there's something not far
なん
behind.
なのだんだん腹立ってきた。早くネズコちゃん
Good,
見つけて
be
この
mad.
稚内森からおさらばしよう。
That's what you need to be right now. Mad. Is one of the kids gonna be following him? Or if not the kid, the father? What the fuck?
落ち着け。毛さ切りにするんだ。右の首の付け根から左
And
の
those
下ま
guys
で切ってみよう。
panicking.
待て、一緒に。
早いか。
I feel like this is gonna be a really— oh my god, Inosuke is gonna be a really good learning lesson. That they need to work together as a team, in unison, not against one another. Oh! Tanjiro! He's like, you saved me. I owe you my life.
伊之助、一緒に戦おう。一緒に考えよう。
He's gonna listen. But you have to work together.
これ以上俺をふわふわさせんじゃね
What the fuck type of doll is this?
伊之助、俺を踏め。
Springboard! He's got like knife hands.
伊之助、飛べ。
Look at him listening.
死の型。打ちしよう。毛さ切
This
りだ。
is insane.
え。しょう、なんだこれ腹が立つぜ。全部あいつの思い通りか。
Because he's not rushing in. Not preordained, he's
ま
just
るで
tactical.
川の水が流れていくことほど当たり前に。
Which is why his form is water.
自分が前に出ることではなく、戦いの全体の流れを見ているんだ。
Let's go! See what happens when you work together. Oh, she's lost her last doll.
やった。倒せたぞ、伊之助。
Inosuke?
伊之助。
Is he gonna hug
お
him?
前にできることは
No?
俺にもできるはず
What's
だ。
happening? Inosuke!
この匂い。そういうことか、伊之助。
He's giving him the opportunity to smell.
そもそもルイが脅しに来たのが悪いのよ。それで焦って
Oh, that is terrifying.
水の呼吸。一の型。
死ねば解放される。
Oh. She's like, please, death's a mercy.
なれる。
五の型。
He's shocked. He's like, what? Oh.
優しい雨に打たれているような感覚。
I'm gonna cry. Tanjiro.
苦しくもない。
He realized that she was offering herself up. So he didn't punish her by giving her a
こ
painful
んなに
death.
も
He
穏や
made
か
it
な死が来る
gentle.
なんて。
He gave her peace. Oh,
こ
Tanjiro,
れ
you're
で
such a good boy.
解放される。
Oh, just I love him.
悪かったわ。謝るからお許してよ。何に怒ったの？何が気に食わなかったの？
This is the father, isn't it?
何に怒ったかわからないのが悪いんだよ。
Oh no.
また母さんが父さんに怒られてる。
I love that the only one that's showing sadness is the daughter. The two sons are almost blaming the mother. Not almost, they are blaming the mother. Full of kindness.
優しい目。
So she was abused by her husband,
人間だった頃、
forced into being
誰か
this.
に優しい眼差しを向けられていた気がする。思い出せない。いつも私を大切にしてくれていた人。
This is so beautiful.
あの人は今どうしているのかしら。十に気づきがいるわ。
The father?
待って。
I love that she warned him. Oh.
気
Oh.
づきがいる。本物の十二
She
気づきが
told him to be
こ
careful.
の山に。
She showed her kindness in her final moments. Oh my god, that's so beautiful.
お前にできることは俺にもできるんだぜ。
でも俺は伊之助にできないことを知ってるぞ。
なんだと。
いつまで経っても俺の名前を覚えられないじゃないか。
かまぼこコンパチよ。
違うよ。
シャカリキケンコロ。
違う。
Nope.
いただきトン太郎。
全然違う。伊之助は7回に1回くらい人の名前を正しく呼べるらしいですよ。もう
So,
3回間違えてるけど
eventually.
本当に言えるのかな。
浜戸丹五郎。
惜しい。
天戸丹次郎。
ほぼ正解だ。
かまど。
おお。
って名前なんてもういいじゃねえ
Oh,
か
for
よ。
God's sake, so
もう少しで
close.
聞けそうだったのに。
That was just stunning. Absolutely beautiful. I'm trying so hard to not cry because the idea that you've known nothing but suffering, that you willingly embrace death because it releases you, it gives you peace from the abuse that you've suffered, and likely the abuse that you suffered beyond being a demon, because it's insinuating that they're going through the same motions that they do when they're human. So I think she is a victim of domestic violence, that her husband was physically abusive to her. And the fact that her two boys blame her, they say, it's your fault for not knowing what you did to make him mad. Mom's in trouble again. The only one that shows sadness is the daughter. And likely that comes down to her being able to empathize with the mother's feelings. But the two boys have become socialized and normalized into seeing this violence as appropriate, as a necessary response. And the fact that the young boy, Rue, probably butchering that, even goes as far as to threaten his mother with further violence at the hands of their father if she doesn't handle the situation quick enough, that it causes her to panic and not think rationally. But he's imitating what he's seeing. It's showing that when children are surrounded by violence, they're socialized into accepting that as normal. When it's not normal, it's completely abhorrent. So she's remembering a time when she was treated with kindness, and I'm wondering if that was initially her husband or if this was maybe someone else. But maybe it was that initially someone did look at her with kind eyes. Her husband did treat her well, and that's why she fell in love with him. But he changed when they got married, or maybe he changed when he became a demon and she had to suffer through this abuse. But I have a feeling that the likelihood is that they're recreating what they know from when they were humans without knowing that they're doing it. So what I think it is her recognition that there was once a time where someone looked at her with kind eyes, and it's been so long since she's seen kindness that she's forgotten what it looks like, because all she's known since is suffering and pain and torment, and the fact that she's willing to just embrace death because it releases her from it all, and Tanjiro's recognition of that means he softens the blow. He gives her a gentle end because he knows that what she did was unforgivable, but he isn't without mercy. He isn't without kindness. And just the way that she talks about the kindness in his eyes, and that it feels like a gentle rain kissing her skin, that there's no pain. Ooh, because he doesn't want to inflict unnecessary suffering onto her. And in return for his kindness, she warns him that there is one of the 12 here and to be careful. She's showing that she can empathize with him in turn, that she can also show a willingness to want to protect him by ensuring that he doesn't go in blind to the fact that there is an elite soldier of Muzan here. The animation, the music, absolutely stunning. I just didn't expect the situation to be so hard hitting. Again, we don't know if that flashback is not her husband, but usually in the case of domestic violence, you don't fall in love with someone because they're initially abusive. You're deceived into believing that they are everything that you want, that they are kind and loving, and that they would never harm you. It's only when you're in a relationship with them or in a marriage with them that you begin to start to see a different side to them. And it doesn't start as physical violence, it starts as verbal, it starts as putting you down, isolating you from your family, from those that care about you, that would notice these behaviors, and then it escalates. It begins to become physical. But by that point, you're so deep within the relationship itself that you begin to accept that it's normal. You begin to think that you're to blame, that if you hadn't done something to make them mad, then they wouldn't hurt you. But that's not the way that it is. And no one should ever have to go through that. And I think that's what like really hit me in the gut, is just the fact that her own sons have begun to blame her, have begun to say that it's her fault, that she made him mad, and almost victim blaming. Not almost, it is victim blaming. It is telling her that she deserves that violence, and she doesn't. No one does. No one deserves to have a partner that abuses them, whether male or female, because domestic abuse impacts everyone. It's not solely a female issue, though it is the majority of women that do suffer from domestic violence, but it is also a male issue too. So I don't want anyone to get it twisted here. I recognize that domestic violence is very much an issue across the board. It just dominantly impacts women more than men, but men can still be the victims of domestic violence. But the way in which her life must have been so hard for her to think that death is a release, that she won't have to undergo or suffer this torment anymore, that she would rather die than continue to live this way, to continue to be abused and mistreated and taunted by her own sons. It's only her daughter that seems to be sad by witnessing the violence against her mother. But I also think it's very telling that she is quiet. She is high up in the tree, removed from it, because she's almost fearful that her father's violence might turn on her. Whereas the boys are on the ground because the threat of violence doesn't extend to them in the same way that it extends to their mother and potentially their sister, which is why their sister is keeping quiet and staying out the way, because she's learned from what's happened to her mother that it's better to be quiet. It's better to hide yourself, make yourself smaller than it is to be noticed. Whereas the boys, because they're aligning with their father and his perspective and his view, they're not at risk of incurring the same fate. Whereas it would be different if they stuck up for their mother, and the likelihood is that they don't want his violence turned on them, so they don't stick up for their mother. But again, if children are raised in that environment, sometimes children do begin to side with the abuser because it's normalized, it's rationalized, and children don't understand. Children imitate what they see. So if you're seeing violence in the household, unless you removed from it and explicitly told that it's wrong, you're going to think that that's a completely normal way for a husband and a wife to behave with each other. You're not going to question it. You're going to think, well, if my mom hadn't have said anything to piss my dad off, he wouldn't have hit her. Like, why does she have to say something? It's her fault. But it's not her fault. Your father should never have used his fists to abuse your mother. But it's showing not only the trauma and the detrimental impact of domestic violence on women and the impact that it has on your confidence in the way in which you engage with the world, but its impact on children and their ability to not recognize it as wrong because it's become so normalized in their eyes. I just love how deep this show is. People, I think, don't really give the show that much credit because that was absolutely beautiful. I think that is the first time in an anime I've seen domestic violence depicted in such a way that it really like got to my gut. This sense of futility and desperation that there's nothing worth fighting for or living for anymore because it's just further pain. And just and Tanjiro, just Tanjiro every goddamn time. That recognition, that kindness, the fact that he doesn't want to bring her any more suffering, and he could have done. And that's the difference between him and this man that abuses her, is that if he had been of a similar disposition, seeing the deaths of those fellow demon slayers that they were trying to save, how they were just discarded as useless dolls when they were no longer necessary. He could have taken that rage and anger and frustration out on her, could have wanted to make her suffer, but he didn't because he recognized in her reaching up her arms to him that she was embracing death. He could sense that there was a pain there that he didn't fully understand, that he didn't fully recognize, but he wasn't going to make her suffer any more than she already has. And it's that willingness to set aside your own frustrations and anger and feelings to empathize with someone else that makes Tanjiro such a strong, courageous character. And I feel like he's such a good representation to young boys and young men watching this as how to be a man, what characteristics you need to embrace. For anyone wondering, my PhD was in representations of masculinity and the socialization of violence in conflict cultures. And if you're wondering what a conflict culture is, it's essentially the way that certain aspects of masculinity are socialized into young boys growing up in the middle of a conflict zone and how violence becomes normalized. And then also looking at post war and post conflict and how the next generation deal with the trauma and how these characteristics that are normalized in the parent are then passed down into the children, even though peace has been established, and that it becomes this socialized, praised aspect of masculinity, but it has dire consequences, especially in this perception of boys can't show emotion, can't cry, and the impact that it has on mental health. So I focus a lot on masculinity, and masculinity is a construct. The idea of masculine characteristics, they're not something that men are inherently born with, much in the same way that women are not inherently born with what we define as feminine characteristics. They are socially placed onto children as they grow up. And children in different environments will learn different ways of being in accordance with what their parents, their grandparents believe are socially acceptable ways to perform each gender. So every country will have a different concept of how one appeals to masculinity and how one appeals to femininity. So not every culture is the same in their perception of masculine and feminine characteristics, which is why some cultures may see the way that women act in a different culture as being more masculine because their perception of femininity differs. But in their culture, that perception of femininity is the normalized, accepted way. Essentially, gender is constructed, the way in which we engage and interact with the world is constructed. So having Tanjiro as this positive representation compared with this father who is abusing his wife for disobeying him, for making him mad, is taking his frustrations out on her, goes to show that Tanjiro is the type of masculinity you want to be: kind, empathetic, understanding, open and attuned to the world and the emotions within it, not shut off, not closed, and not using your fists to solve all your problems and answers for you. Versus the father who treats his wife like she's an object, takes his frustrations out on her, blames her for everything that goes wrong, and physically abuses her. Tanjiro is the ideal, the father is the one that we are abhorring. So I love that they are showing this juxtaposition, that they are basically saying that the violence that the father is showing is not the masculinity you should aspire for. It's not the idealized version, whereas violence, strength, and courage are usually seen as typical masculine characteristics. But with Tanjiro, they're showing that strength and courage can be positive. They don't have to be rooted in violence, they don't have to be rooted in being aggressive. They can be rooted in showing kindness to somebody that has harmed you and wronged you. It's showing that you can express your emotions in a healthy way, that you can find kindness and show kindness to others. It's just a beautiful juxtaposition between a toxic masculinity and a positive masculinity. That Tanjiro is who we should aspire and want our young boys to be like, versus the father, which is an outdated idea of what masculinity should be, and that we should be forsaking it. We should be discarding it. We shouldn't be encouraging it. I just adore this show and how it's depicting boys and masculinity in such a positive light, that it's moving away from outdated concepts of what men should be. And I feel like it's such a good and moving message for young boys growing up to watch something like Demon Slayer and to have characters like Tanjiro that they can aspire to behave in a similar way, that they can model their behavior after him. Because I think if more boys act like Tanjiro, or if more people in general behave like Tanjiro, the world would be a much better place. So we definitely need to encourage people to watch Demon Slayer, because if more people were as kind as him, I think all the world's problems would be solved. But I think that's all I want to say for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this react, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below to help boost this video into the algorithm. And until next episode, bye!